Hi there, how are you doing? So I hope everyone is well and happy. And today this is pretty interesting. We have two rooks and against the queen and today I'm in calculation mode. I want to just destroy computer by calculating something crazy, but unfortunately this position has to be simple, but it's probably not that simple because I mean, if we down a queen, it has to be very forcing. Like we need to win very forcing, and object can be objectively it can be only queen. It can be the rook of the queen also, but sometimes pawn, yeah, promotion. We should not underestimate the power of the pawn. But most likely the target simply the king and it's we need to see some checkmate patterns or maybe yeah I guess let's scan the position. Of course we need to notice one of the first things I would notice, of course, where king can run away, and this g3 square, g5 square, h6 potential square, f6 square, f4 square. So one of the patterns we when we saw checkmating puzzles is we call it shrink the box pattern. What is shrink the box? You don't allow the king multiple options like run in any direction. You just cut it some ways by using pawns or by using rooks and simply win the game. There is also a possibility to take d takes e5 because it's cutting f4 square from the king. Yes, and when king jump to g5 after taking this pawn, it's possible to play something like king g7, f6, and it's simply checkmate. So okay, we cut all the squares. Look how do I think. I did not start to think rook a2. I didn't start to think g5. I just simply think where the white king belongs to. Yes, and which is possible counterplays. I will notice like some defensive tricks, like if I take an example, take d takes e5. Yes, what he does. Yeah, in this case, not sure right now. Yeah, but it's quite possible. So d takes e5, maybe g5, some idea. If g4, maybe rook a3, some ideas. And maybe there is some but even some position where rook can beat the queen if we put, but it's okay. I'm just scanning too much. Yeah, notice some ideas which I might miss, which is already my habit, so that's why I do it. Yeah, it is possible somehow. F6 g5 possibilities is 6. I'm trying to understand pawn structure, which is possible pawn structures here. Okay, but now blocks move, so let's make it as simple as possible. So we have this possibility, which objectively is very good, cut the queen. But what and this one, yes. This one is simpler because we don't allow to opponents to choose pawn structures. Like if we play rook a2, there is it takes d5, e6, and oh no, we create yes, like queen e8, queen b8. Rook d2 interferences. We need to check all interferences. Just make it your habit. Look, how do I think? I check all the ways to interfere. Yes, all the ways to sacrifice the queen for the rook. Yes, also. I'm just trying to see all the options available. Yeah. Obviously, there's two moves, g4 and king h4, and we need to choose between this and this, like which is the most powerful. But this seems forced. After g4, we still can take it. e5. We need to be aware of queen b8, queen e5 maneuver. But king can jump to h7. But yet, it is possible. Yes, this way. So from that we see drawback of rook a2. b8 square is available for the queen, and if I play right away rook a2. Finally, after d takes e5, he can play queen b8, queen e5. Yes, we need to check maybe rook, queen on e5 is very bad piece, like f6 is forkable square. But objectively, we have choice, don't allow it. But in this case, he can just interfere us rook a4. Yes, it's also see the ways how he can interrupt our pieces. Yeah, and I guess there is no way to win after rook takes it or after rook a4. So probably we should allow this defensive trick, but then for the queen and the rook or in this or that way. Okay. Yeah, I assume rook a4 is very strong defensive idea. So here, and he has options like run away, g4, h4, queen a8, queen b8, and all of that. And this is the most obvious king h4 with idea king g5. Can we simply take as we had this idea? And now queen b8, king h7, queen a5 doesn't work because we have f6 defensive trick. And if he what's his options now? So queen e8, we have choice between king g7 and king h7, both are good. Seems no improvements after queen e8 for him. Interferences, we check. No way to sacrifice the queen for the rook for any of them. This one exists but doesn't make sense. This one exists. Doesn't make any sense. So I'll do checkmate here. Yeah, king wants to play king. She wants to play king g5, king f6, obviously. His idea. No. f4 is not available anymore. Is it checkmate after rook h2, king g7? Yeah, it seems it checks simply checkmate. Rook h2 and king g7, f6 is checkmate, g5 is cut in a 4 square. Yeah, and I don't see what he can do with that. Rook a2, f6. I don't see he can do something. So our so from that we understand our idea is to take d takes e, king g7, and simply checkmate f6. It seems devastating. It seems devastating, and I assume she has to try to kill our idea by another way, like to play g4, let's say. And but then just rook f3, not drawback principle. Rook f3, king h4. Rook h2, king g5, and still king g7 with idea of 6 in checkmate. Why is it not winning? This idea. He takes c5 with idea of 6. Takes here. No, it takes d and 25 of 6 still. This 6. But it seems somewhere it has to be checkmate. It has, just must be checkmate. Looks very, very bad for white. Anyway, to play f6. Or just play something like rook g2, g4. Around here, h4, h3. It looks like a completely winning position, but maybe not. Maybe computer can defend. Can we win simpler? Another question. I don't want to calculate everything, even if I'm in a calculation mode. So, okay, to g4. Can I win in the simplest way? What is the simplest way to win and save a lot of time? So rook f3 can't do that move. Rook h2 can't do that move. h4 can't do that move. It's possible. Yes. King g7 is weird, but can't do that move. Keep multiple options. Like for flexibility principle, rook f3 and rook h2 keep both available. And if he plays d takes c5, did I say d takes c5 is also a good flexible move? Yeah, d6c5 is also flexible. He can defend third rank in this case, but we cut it 4 square. Cut it 4 square and d4 square also, because then rook now stop the king from d3 square, like self blockade, like smothered mate idea. So, and now we have this one, e4 and rook e2, and there is no square, so we said it's cut it by pieces and the pawn, but rook e3. Oh, rook e3, yeah. And still holdable, yeah, still holdable. Okay, what am I missing, right? What am I missing? It has to be simple. First, I assume it has to be simple, and only after that I should see more complex solutions. But first, it should try to find simple solution. Focus on simple chess. So he's also main defensive trick is g5, h6. Can I just prevent it? Yeah, now I'm trying to calculate without wasting time for explanations, and it's just much quicker because I don't need to verbalize anything and speak, so it's just much faster, and I will just share my thoughts process after that, so you can also pause the video and calculate. And maybe I missed some tricks with. Maybe I did not enough scan this position. How do you think? King g5, king h6 is defensive trick. King g7 is way to prevent. f6 is the idea. Here is some ways to attack the king. Maybe I didn't see this way to attack the king. Maybe from somehow from a chat I can miss into these ways. Okay, just check all files lines and maybe some pawn tricks like additional. Maybe I don't see something where like allow him to play king g6 and checkmate. H pawn is important. Maybe in some variations, maybe I should sacrifice this pawn because then h5 is open. Yes, because like g4 I can play h4, and if king h4 I can come back and attack from this side and f6 is checkmate. Do you think it's possible? Yeah, you see, I mean, sometimes imagine if I just trying to calculate, yes, and find this idea or attack from another side. Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy, but when I start to scan, yes, you scanning technically. I mean, it can be not correct solution, yes, right now. But if it's really correct solution, like yo-yo, yes, come back to a chat and attack from the side, from this side, like look for on this amazing visualization, like yo-yo, come back through, attack through the, move rook through the king and move rook through the pawn. Like, I mean, if you just calculate, no way. And the question which helped me to understand it is was maybe I visualize not enough, maybe I don't see all the lines to attack the king, yes, and maybe I miss some pawn tricks like this, yeah, like h4. So let's check. Rook a2, g4, h4. Yes, my idea is simply checkmate n1. Simply checkmate n1. And he can take king h4 or play g5 here. g5 is available. g5 is possible, but where he's going to run. Also, h-pawn is very strong in this case. This can be just queen. In some cases, should not miss this idea. I have options. Can take in g4, but he has squares. D takes c5, maybe. I got f3 square, but still not that clear. I will checkmate him then. Sure. Idea is cool, but we should not. We should know idea, but with attachment to the idea. Yes, this idea exists in some good way. In some good moment it exists, but don't. You need to check. You need to try to make it works, but do not attach to this. Otherwise, you spend too much time. When naturally you can do that. Yes, know this idea, but also try to play simple chess and simply win. Yeah. So I keep now I keep calculating a little more. Also, you can think. Highly recommend you to pause the video and think by your own. Now I see interesting idea, which did not come in my mind. First is prophylaxis, like don't allow even king g5. Sure. The idea is to play f6 and allow all these checks, but to play king g7, king h6, and checkmate with the king. And this is very powerful idea because it's usually we simply don't even calculate it. We don't want to allow any counterplay. This is where we can call counterplay a drawback pattern. Yes, when you actually allow counterplay and win the game. Like the idea I thought was rook a2 g4 to play rook f3, king h4, king g7 immediately. Like he cannot play ed e6 because there is simply checkmate. And the idea was to play f6 next. Like if he, an example, play h3, yes, is my idea was to play f6 takes with the idea queen d7 king h6, and that is g5 checkmate, queen d7 king h6 and g5 checkmate. Yeah, and the threat is g5 g5 rook h3 mate from this side also. Yeah, or king h6 g5 mate. Yeah. If g takes h5, if g takes h5, what am I going to do? Five. I still have d takes h5. That is complex, but the idea is cool. So, but we need to try to eliminate it also. We also keep multiple attacking options. Everything is still playable there. Maybe first d takes c5, and an example with rook a4, then now it is here. No, a2 is not problem now. If he takes rook a2, no problem. He has rook d3 also. Okay, I need to calculate because many moves I cannot just speak it out. I simply need to see them all simultaneously. Okay, which I highly recommend for you to do too. Yeah, so now I'm thinking about the idea, which is also cool. Yeah, rook a2, g4, rook f3, king h4, king g7, and if gh as a main move, I thought it's my defensive idea. But maybe I'm missing something. I should not miss this assumption. Rook g2, it's with the threat checkmate in one, rook g4, g5, and if he takes h takes g, f takes g, which is crazy. The idea is g5, rook h3, rook h4, rook h3, rook h4 mate. G5 is not mate, but g5, rook h3. So at some point he has to play rook g4, I assume. But then rook h2, rook f5 mate. Which seems nice, but we need to be very careful because if we attach to nice idea, we immediately lose the puzzle or the game. So we must refute it, find the way how white actually can defend it. If we play white, we know if we play white, this is losing, so we need to find what is not. Like we need to find refutation. Rook a2, g4, rook f3, king h4, king g7. Don't allow king g5 because now simply f6. He has these kinds of pins also. He has this one to try to trade, and he has gh and g5 doesn't sound. King g5 he doesn't. What else he can try? But let's check 27 b7, which is logical. We can't play king h6, he plays g5. Can we? He plays g5 and we can back king g7. Oh, that's sad for him. And now after h3, an example we can play now. That's interesting. Queen from d7 defending h3 square. This diagonal is very important, you see? Yeah, it's very, very important. This one we can miss, like defensive tricks, like if you don't see diagonals, and especially pawn on h3, and here is defending, queen defending from the f6 because of pin, and also defending h3 square here to protect our double stack against double stack. It's still possible we can find the way attack another weakness there and win the game, but it looks very, very hard. Maybe d takes c5, and if rook moved checkmate here, and if it's moved from this side, we can find the way to win the game somehow. Maybe yes, maybe not. And somehow interfere this with this 6. Do we have interference? Yeah, seems we have, like d is 6. It's possible we can interfere the queen and we simply win the game here. Maybe, but I need to check carefully. It's just scanning first. So rook a2, g4, rook f3, king h4, king g7, queen d7. Seems a good move. Am I missing something simple? Am I missing something simple? This defensive diagonal we need to, this defensive rank we need to see all the time too. Am I missing something dumb simple? Like rook h2, king g5, t takes c5 and f6. And yes, he has, or just d takes c5, more powerful. Yes, he has only queen e7, so he still can take h2. Rook on f3. Yeah, and if rook on h2, he has queen e5, queen h2. But now, if rook on a2, we simply can take e takes d5, and he can't play queen e5 has 6 all the time. What am I smoking? Yeah, d6. This position I already was thinking about. So rook here and rook here. I can take h2, but it's not the best way, maybe. G5. Can I play king h6? Then there's queen g5 here. Some point. Some weird way to play something like h8 f6 at some point. Looks wrong. Looks wrong. But also possible. But I want to find simpler solution. Very simple. What simple can I miss here, guys? What simple don't I see? Very, very simple. Rook f3, king h4. Because most of the time we miss very simple things. Queen g7, queen d7, yeah. And there is also multiple options: b7, rook a4, as I noticed, maybe rook d3 to defend the third rank, maybe rook d3, also interesting. But then f6 and king h6, my idea. Takes and threatening g5, rook h2. Wait. No, rook h2, f6, there is some mate. Okay, so queen d7 is main defensive idea to prevent f6 and defend h3. Maybe I'm missing something, but okay, let's take risks. I don't want to make this video again. Earlier video. And also, we should not reject. Sometimes it's d takes c5, and after rook a4 is somehow winning with this pawns and rook against the queen. It's possible. Or something like that. It's possible. Pushing b, but I don't want to check it because it's not obvious made there, and I don't want to check it. Maybe bring king to h6. Yeah, but with king on h6 is actually winning. Wait. Check on the surface first before go deeper. I'm not forced to take it also, but in this case I lose my threat power. Yes, takes. How can I create threat? g5 is not threat yet. Not threat yet. His main defensive idea is g4, actually f5, but then king h4, king g7 is too late. Yeah. No, it seems wrong. Like it seems wrong. This one is simply just much better, and this position looks very dangerous. Maybe take on h2 because we don't want h3. King g5, king g7, queen d7 in this position. We actually don't want to allow h3. We will defend this pawn. D takes c5. And now queen e7 doesn't work with d queen e5 or 6 too. But he has d6. At this position, I've been in this position a few times, and I thought it's has to be somehow win, but I couldn't find direct win. Maybe rook e2. For the queen of queen e2, there is f6, g5, rook h3 mate. But he can play like d7, c7, b7, a7. Objectively, a7 is more effective way to put pieces, but then draw back. If queen moves to a7, maybe there is some weakness. There is also rook e5 now. Okay, rook e2 and rook e5. And then g5, rook h3 mate. Okay, we have another nice idea. We need to refute this idea again. Rook a2, g4, rook f3, king h4. We actually can take rook h2 because we don't want to allow h3 and queen defending this pawn. King g5, king g7. We threatening f6 is forcing. Everything is forcing. So queen d7, queen b7 only moves, but d7 looks more logical. We keep in mind these two. And then we play d takes c5. And the threat is simply play f6. So it seems like queen e7 is forcing. E takes d. And there is nothing better than just play d6. Yeah. And then rook e2. And if queen moves to rook e5, if d7, probably also rook e7, g5 this way. Okay, so rook e2. What can we miss? Wait, there is some checks, but it's not good because we bring king closer to the. We want to play king g7, don't allow this idea. So she doesn't want to check us. He has king h4, he has g4. And king h4 we eliminated because of simply rook h2, king g4. No, why did we eliminate king h4? I remember it was very simple. D takes c5 and it's just disaster. Yeah, like rook h2. Yeah, and there is f6 almost unavoidable, or d takes c5, king g5, right? And this is the main defense by king g7 simply. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, rook e2, king h4, d takes c5. And now we need 27, but we come back to the same variation. Like we can play the same or not? No, not pawn on g3. Yeah. Wait. This is different, yeah. Yeah, this is different. This is slightly different. I need to check it. It takes c5, king g5, king g7 doesn't work. It takes c5, 28, king g7 is only move, or we can play also king h7. We can keep in mind both. So 27. And now it's possible to take c takes d5. It's possible to check king g5, it takes d5. Also. But then queen f6, no, it's not, it cannot be right. Queen f6 and all these ideas is even willing for a block. Or maybe we found something interesting, like king h4. Somehow I eliminated it very easily initially. Like maybe king g7 idea, but then h3 is possible. Maybe f6. Oh, no, no. No mate here. Rook a2, king h4. h2, king g5. c5. King h6, no, it's impossible. Rook a2, king h4, king g7 was initial idea. Yeah. And if h3, let's say, how am I going to checkmate him? I'm going to checkmate him. It's possible to play f6, takes, and the idea is king h6, g5. These checks are not dangerous, but the problem is I don't have threat except king h6. Like I need two moves. Like, yeah, g4. If let's say rook f3 or rook a3. Rook f3 is more precise. Don't allow rook a3. Wow, maybe I'm wrong. Rook to king h4. Am I really wrong? Like I saw very clear win after that. King g7. Or rook h2, king g5, king g7, or RTA. But then it did. What is the idea? Rook f2, rook f5, and f6. Yeah, it has to be winning. Rook f4. Not really. Cannot say for sure now. Wow. Wait, I just eliminated king h4 very easily initially, but now I don't see how it's it winning. Huh. Interesting. D takes c5. Seems logical. But then queen e8. 77. The idea is to take e7, yes. Otherwise, rook h2 and f6. Let's say this is critical position. And if I think simply takes d5, why is it not winning? Why is it not winning? The questions. I have two rooks and passed pawn. He can push something like d6, but I also have attack like rook a2. And this h2 is hanging in still. Wait, let me check. Rook a2, queen. King h4, king g7. What was my idea? My brain is already cooked here. Oh, I little, but that is very important. When you train beyond your limits, you can go beyond your limits. So always try to push more than you can. Little by little, your abilities will become better and better. So when you train beyond the limits of your mind is becoming stronger. The same as well as body. King h4, rook queen e8, king g7, king h4. What's my idea? So king g7 looks logical. And if she plays h3, what do I want? f6, bro. Not sure about that. King h6. No diagonals here. g5 is clear threat. Seems like g4 is on the move, but then g5 h4 might. Ah, this idea. Okay, check it. King g7. h3, king h6. Oh. g4, g5, h4 might. Tricky. Yeah, king h6 is somehow safe here. And he has no hope at rook g4 maybe. But then which wait, rook g4, what am I going to do? h4, g7, h3, h6. Also the threat is rook g4 preventing g5. Looks wrong. Like maybe rook f4, rook a4, no. f6 is idea, g5, and sacrifice on g6 possible. You know how simple how can I win as simple as possible? I can also play a g. Can also play a g cannot play, king g4 can play, but then d takes c5 needs two connected rooks. And no king safety and the direct threat of 5g5, it has to be winning. Okay, so I assume rook a2 is correct. I don't believe in d takes c5, rook a4 takes something like a 5 or g5. It seems wrong for me. Too slow, like allow all the counterplay, all the tricks with the queen. Yeah, let's play it. King h4 he plays, man. Often our ideas work king g7 with the threat king h6. Don't allow king g5 h6 idea, which is logical. And then after h3, king h6, rook g4, and simply anything with CIG, Alexander. 28, threatening here. d5, rook a4 doesn't work. d5 f5 doesn't work. So it has to come back. But it's already tricky. h3 is not only option, by the way. It has queen d7, queen b7, rook a4. Yeah, rook f4. Rook f4. Well, rook f4 preventing f6 so simple also. Like I saw only pin from this side to prevent f6, but rook f4 is also prevented. Like king g7, rook f4. Rook h2, king g5, d takes c5, rook f7 in the idea. Possible idea. And maybe there is some tricks. So if I play king g7, rook f4 is interesting move too. Can I play something where to add king h6? It would be crazy. And after rook f2, g5, king h3, g4, king h4, rook f2, rook h2 is unavoidable. Wow. h3, rook h2, rook h3. Wow, that's hard. not hard really, but yeah, this is nice. Yeah, king h6 is just a bit small. Okay, I assume king g7 because there is multiple options, but we also have multiple attacking ideas like king h6 or six g5, etc. It's just a flexibility principle. We have multiple complex threats and also it's prophylaxis against all these checks. It's played. Oh, it's wrong. Okay. Okay. What is the simplest way? Did c5 here? Oh, it's just like this horrible. And why didn't he play king g5 here after d c5, king g5, king g7? Yeah, which is weird. King g7 is just winning after king g5. What am I doing? Yeah, this is bad by me. I mean, EF is just has to win. Aye. Okay, why did I? How can he defend after king g7? I'm curious. King g7, rook f4, exactly. Somehow. And what did I think here? King h6, rook f2, g5, king h2. G4, king g2, I missed this. Aye. G4, king h4 is winning, yeah. That's why, I mean, was the last time when, you see, when did I miss the when did I miss idea? When I attached to beautiful idea, yeah, and I did not check finally, oh, can I refute this idea? The moment I stopped to ask myself, can I refute beautiful idea, I lose the game. Yeah, because I simply missed simple king g2 here. Yeah, I did not. I noticed rook f4, yes, to prevent the 6 from this side also. But you see, I simply missed simple way. And DE was my initially the first, the most obvious idea here. And I wasn't sure about what, 28, 27 here. Exactly. It's the, I wasn't sure completely about this position probably. 25, finish 7. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this position completely. It's winning accordingly with the computer, but I wanted to find something absolutely killing. Yeah, and I missed. It's very complex. It's very easy to go wrong here. Like king g7 looks very right for me. Yeah, king g7 looks correct. King h4, g4 was another candidate move. Rook f3, king h4. Rook h2, she suggests. But what was our idea? Probably this and king g7. No, king g7 is okay. D takes c5, the best. And it just plays the game. Wow, it just played rook h3 here. And then king g7, f6 slowly. Wow. King h6 is also rook d2 is wonderful tactic also king h6 because cannot play king h6 here because the g open file. This trick I missed like king g5, king h6 is prevented by a h6g. Yeah. I probably thought about king g7 more. Then again, rook f4, yeah, main idea. Otherwise, it's winning. Rook f4 is main idea, and he takes c5, beautiful move, and rook f7, something like that I saw in some variations. But it was more complex. Now rook f7, yes, it's quite safe. Still not kind of clearly evaluated. Okay, but some imaginative ideas we could see, and yes, what did I miss? I miss simple. I miss simple trick with simple trick with rook of king g7, rook of 4. I missed quite simple trick with HG was ideal also. Let me check king h6 here, correct. Yeah. Rook g4, all that I saw. And yeah, I thought after G is winning. It's more or less correct. King a8, king g7. I checked it if I remember right. But also not that clear. Not that clear. Yeah, I was still thinking about g5 or something. But here is not the queen is guarding all the squares. King g7, and it's a little bit messy. Queen e7, d6, many ideas for white. I'm not sure about it. Not completely sure. Yeah, and g4, I like this. Checkmate also. Also like the ideas with in case where was this where g4. I like the idea with h4, something like that to bring it from this side in some cases, but it's not exactly here in some variations. Yeah, and finally I missed this very simple trick where you can just jump to g2. I simply didn't see it. By the way, why did not I see it? The question is, we need to ask ourselves questions. Well, we may not reply, but we need to question ourselves all the time. Why did not I see it? King g7, rook f4, king h6, takes g5, king h2. Because I had a attachment to beautiful idea. Yeah, now rook. I mean, it's difficult to see king on the square where two rooks are attacking. Yeah, now two rooks are blockading g2 square. It's very hard to see the king on the g2 square. That is the answer. So train yourself more to see king ghost and see the king on the impossible squares. If the square attack twists, it doesn't mean there is no way to put king on the g2 square. Yeah, this is a good mistake. This is a good mistake because we don't see g2 square usually. So this is possible. See the king on the pawns squares and also on the impossible squares like g2 here. Yeah, it's possible. Everything is possible. Yeah, and of course, if I just take rook of 2, there is not g4 already. Yeah, g4 already, and I don't have time. What about this position? Let's say blank move. You take c5 and b5. Is it okay? No, it's still losing. Yeah, it's still bad. Okay. So always see your king and your pieces on the impossible squares, on the impossible ways, on the impossible files and diagonals. Take c5. I didn't like king g5 here, but for some reason. And why king g7 is just winning? Yeah. King g7 is just winning. Why didn't I like it? Rook f5, rook h2 mate. Very simple. Yeah. Very simple. Queen d7, f6, queen h6. Yes, all this idea I can see. It's strange, right? Yeah. How did they? Because it was my initial idea to cut it for square. And if she plays rook a4 logical move, yeah, we still have the same checkmate. Yeah, and f6. And it's very simple. Did x5 and then decide to play king g7 or not. Maybe something like that. Yes, it was. This position here was hard for me to evaluate 77 I saw, but now it's started here. And this pawn is running. Some ideas like rook e2 I also saw, and yeah, I had feeling it has to be winning, but it's something like that, but I could not say for sure. But okay, but if I see king g2, of course, I mean, I wouldn't play. I would take d64 if I see rook f4 and g7, because I thought initially king g7. I thought main idea, defensive idea is queen g7. I spent most of the time with that, but then I could see king h6. Yeah, and it's winning. Something like h3, just g5. Oh, it's not here. Not this line. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. And I need to give you a pitch. So because I need to train my pitch pattern, I need to become the best seller in the world. So my rate per hour at $30 per hour for the private lessons, and it's just till September. So hurry up. From September, you have to pay $50 per hour. What else? And I also aim to create community where we can train together, discuss more, share our training positions, share videos like this. And yeah, finally, I want to move to the to record videos for this community, not to give it for the public, of course, because I need to think about monetization, about money. And it's also pretty damn cool example for a few. If you want to monetize chess, you better to go with someone who is who cares about that, because yeah, chess is too underpriced, too much free, and is one of the hardest things to monetize it, because there is no direct profit from chess, only indirect. Like you train your mind is becoming powerful, and from this powerful mind you can do many things. But it's much easier if, an example, I do something, it brings you $10,000 and you give me $2,000. You know, the simplest way to make money is simply make money. You know, like an example, if I sell something, yes, it's clear cash flow, very clear cash flow. Like I sell the product, yes, and I mean, anyone happy to share with me money because they earn money. In chess, it's not it's possible in chess. It's possible to make it in chess happen, but we need to detach from the broken system, which is not working for hundreds of years, you know. And we need to think about monetization on each step, and how people can make money. Yeah, otherwise we will be broke forever. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to reach me out, and wish you happiness and talks bye from Cambodia. Stop sharing the screen. Yeah, bye bye, Saksaba.